Good afternoon from Hawaii. Thanks for tuning in to Keep Going Podcast. Today, I want to introduce Tracey in Sunshine City down in St. Petersburg, Florida. First of all, I want to thank you for coming through today. So, Tracey, tell me, what's your 2020 been like?
Oh, man. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited. My 2020 has been awesome. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, right? I know. Most people are saying the opposite.
This has been the best 2020 ever. Well, ever. I guess there's only been one 2020.
One
But
2020.
it's a great year for me. I know for a lot of people it hasn't. It's been stressful, but I can just find all the good things in the stress, I guess.
So,
How are you?
With me, I'll tell you what, the last few weeks have definitely been rough, but, once I made it to Hawaii, things started to look up again.
Good.
They
I'm
say
glad.
you got to find the positive and the negative, and I was digging a big hole to find it.
I think that's a part of our problem, Louis, is that we have really high expectations,
Oh, yeah.
and we do.
We are
But you know
ourselves.
what? There's positive things all around us every day. You just have to, it's all the way you look at it, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And
So
then,
go ahead.
no, I was just going to say this year's been a great year for us, for my business, for me personally, and everything all around. It's been great.
Yeah. And that's why I really wanted you on here, because one, I know you're a great speaker. You're super
Thanks.
positive. It didn't matter what negative stuff you've gone through personally. You were on top. You were always on top. Mentally and physically, you just came up right behind it. So I knew you were one of the perfect candidates for this episode here.
Well, thank you.
So let's say you said that you've done really great with your business this year. So let's talk about that.
Well, I own a restaurant franchise, and primarily our business is dine-in. Now, it's not a big franchise. It's more of most of our business is done at lunch, but it's just been really good. Now, we are set up for takeout. Here's our advantage, right? We've always been set up for takeout. It's a Firehouse Subs franchise. So a lot of people know what that is by now. When I first started, check this out. So there's a sign in every Firehouse Subs you walk into. In every restaurant, it says hook and ladder number, and that has a number next to it, right? I think we're at, and I'm not for sure, but I think we're at like 1,300, 1,400. So it'll say hook and ladder 1,350. So that means that's the 1,350th store that Firehouse is open, right? My number is 164.
Oh, wow. So your store was one of the first batch.
It was. I was the first group of franchisees for Firehouse to come through. So it's been a long time. It's been a really long time. So our restaurant has always been set up for dine-in or takeout. It was never a question. And that's one of our questions when we ask customers. We're here to go. And it's been like a 60% dine-in, 40% to go. But when this craziness happened with COVID, it was nothing for us to say, okay, now we're only to go.
Right,
so
because you already had it established.
Yes, we had it in place. A lot of restaurants were not set up for that. A lot of restaurants were set up for dine-in only and the occasional person who calls for something to go. I think those are a lot of the people who suffered and who had a hard time getting through this, or having a hard time getting through this. So for us, it was nothing. And we had already, I think, maybe 3 years ago, we started with Uber Eats and Amazon. Amazon, believe it or not, I don't know how many of you people remember Amazon, or even if you, Louis, if you remember, do you remember Amazon did the Uber Eats thing? It was called Amazon Eats.
Nope.
Yeah,
No.
Exactly. We had Amazon, and they dropped off not an iPad, but some type of tablet they brought over to us. The problem with Amazon is and why I stopped using them. It's not that I don't love them, because, I'm probably one of Amazon's biggest and best customers, but Amazon only sent us orders if it was $50 or more. So how many people do you know are ordering $50 worth of subs at a time? It's a very small group.
Very small group.
Right. It's super small. But so we were set up for that. So for us, it was nothing but business as usual. In fact, it made it even easier for us, because now we could close our dining room and say, hey, we're takeout only. Now I have a bunch of staff there that don't need to clean the dining room all the time. They're not clearing tables all the time. They're not sweeping the floors all the time. They don't have to, because it's takeout, get it from the rack by the front door. People are in and out, in and out. It was totally different, right? My sales right now, we're up 35% from last year. Which is
35%.
Yeah, that's massive, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm super happy. I'm not happy about the whole thing we're going through, but I can be happy in that my restaurant is doing okay. We're doing fine. We're good.
Yeah. But you worked pretty hard to get there. If you didn't put that work in with that restaurant,
dude, you've no idea. You've no idea how much work I put into this restaurant. No, I've had this place now. I've had it for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And when COVID first started and we found out we were going to have to close the dining room, I worked open to close 7 days a week for 10 weeks. That meant I was putting 15, 16 hours a day in every day for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. I think it was like a week 11 or 12 that I finally said, okay, I think I can back off. I can start taking some days off. And now I'm back to my normal Monday through Friday schedule, which is good. And the other thing that had hurt me, though, at the beginning wasn't sales, because customers kept coming, but a lot of my employees had to leave because I'm close to a university. The dorms closed. Therefore, some of my employees who were students had to go back home to where they came from because the dorms closed. So I had nobody to cover their shifts, which means I'm covering all the shifts.
Oh, man.
That's why I ended up working so much. But, it works out. And then, thanks to the PPP loan, I was able to hire a bunch of new people. And actually, a lot of new people that I hired were let go from other restaurant jobs where they couldn't keep people.
So it was good. So it enabled you to help others.
Yeah, it did. The PPP loan enabled me to help other people, and I was able to hire more people. I think with the PPP loan, I was able to hire 6 or 7 more people to work at my restaurant, which is great. And it's great for them. They're so grateful and so happy, and I'm so happy to have them. And it just worked out everywhere all around. Anyway.
That's right. And that's because you stuck true. You had faith. You did what you did best.
I did.
Yep. And that's worked out for you. If it's one thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. That was it. Yeah.
Oh,
you're right. Faith.
Faith. That's right. And a lot of people need that. A lot of people need that, and that's what these podcasts are about. These episodes are about encouraging people. And it's one thing to hear it from someone who some people think are on the same level as them, but it's another thing to hear from someone they might think is on a higher level. When someone can reach down and say, hey, this is what you need to do, I feel like people are more receptive to that and are feeling more pushed to actually do something at that point.
Yeah. Yep. You're right, Louis. And you know what else I do?
Mm-hmm.
I just had this, there's so many exciting things happening in my business right now. So I have an employee, and this just recently happened. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
I have an employee. He is, I think he's 27 or 28 years old. And he is amazing. He's an amazing worker. He's an amazing employee. He does everything you want an employee to do. On time, in uniform, does his job. When he's there, he gives you the best that you could expect of anybody. He's the greatest. So I asked him to do a couple things extra for me. It was with a catering order. So I said to him, hey, set me up this. It's cookies and chips, right? Something super simple. Just set up cookies and chips, put them in a box. He sets them up. Beautiful. I said to him, now we need a salad, a big salad that's going to feed 10 people. He sets it up. It was so good. Louis, I don't even like salads. I'm the kind of person, I'll take another helping of meat. I'm a meat eater, right?
I second that, but I do like my salads.
I don't like, I'm not even a salad fan, but man, this guy, the way he set this salad up, this looks so good. I'm like, oh God, this looks good. It's not the first time I asked him to do this. This is the second time he's done this for me. Mm-hmm. The other day before yesterday, I said to him, Brandon, have you ever thought about becoming like an actual chef or becoming a pastry chef? Because you have a really great eye for design and layout and making food look beautiful and appetizing. Because you make me want to eat salad.
And Tracey don't like salad.
I don't like salad that much. It's like whatever. It's the whatever thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, when it's at a buffet, I'm like, dude, rookie mistake. Skip the salad bar. Go to the meat. Anyway,
you don't go to a buffet to eat salad. You go to a buffet.
No, go to the meat and the shellfish. Skip the salad. Right. So he's like, no, I've never thought about that, Miss Tracey. He says, but you know what? That sounds really cool. I said, Brandon, look, we need to get you onto something bigger and better in your life. What do you see for yourself? He's like, I don't know. I just thought I'd work here. I'm like, no, you're not working here. This restaurant is the transportation to your destination. So let's find what your destination is, because this is not it.
Right.
So I said to him, what? Go ahead. Go.
I was going to say that's what employers need to do. Instead of trying to keep people under them, to encourage
they don't want to
them.
do that, Louis. Then they lose workers at minimum wage.
Exactly. Yeah, we need more people like you for sure.
Well, you know what though? I don't pay my workers. I don't pay anybody minimum wage. I start them out over minimum wage. Brandon's been with me for a year. He's gone from minimum wage here in Florida is $8.48 an hour, I think. But I started him over at $11 an hour, and he eats for free all that he wants. So he's worth it to me, right? The guy's amazing.
Yeah.
So I said to him, have you thought about doing something else? He's like, I'd love to. I don't know what to do, but what you just said, Miss Tracey, sounds awesome. I said, so why don't you go back to college and go into culinary? Well, because like 10 years ago, I was going for my degree in welding, but I got involved with this girl. You know, they all had their stories about how stuff went wrong, right?
Right.
So I said to him, okay, me and you, we're going to sit at my desk. Let's figure out what student loans you took out way back then, how we can get your loans reinstated and sorted out so he can get back on payments so you could get back into college and toward a degree of something you want to be doing. Because you're not going to be here for the rest of your life, Brandon. You need to go on to a career. You can't just stay going from random restaurant job to random restaurant job. It's not like he's going up to be a sous chef or an executive chef. He's going from Firehouse Subs to Five Guys to Wingstop. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that, but when you're working hard and busting your ass, there's more. And sometimes people don't realize that there's more. If you're stuck in the situation you're in, you don't know that there's more. So many employees that comes through my restaurant, when I ask them, do you want to do direct deposit to your checking account? They're like, I don't know what a checking account is, but I go to Amscot. What does Amscot have? Oh man, that's when everybody gets the lecture from me. Not the lecture. I don't want to say a lecture. It's not a lecture, but what it is I say to them, look, I'm going to tell you what, Scott, they're a great business. They're a profitable business. But you don't see Scott in high-end neighborhoods. Scott is in low-end neighborhoods, preying off people who don't have money and don't know any better. You need to go to a real bank, get yourself a real checking account. So that prompted me, when I heard that, I brought Jonathan to my restaurant to teach all my employees about saving, actual banks, actual checking accounts, and learning how to save and budget and plan for retirement.
If there's anybody to do it, he's the man.
He is the man. Yeah, for sure. He's the man. And he loves talking about it. So I brought him in to help people so they could get themselves on the right path. Because a lot of these neighborhoods, like if you go into neighborhoods where people don't know any better and they see Scott and they see their parents going to Scott or whatever check cashing place you are or pawn shop you are, all those places are in the low income neighborhoods. Those people, they prey on people with low incomes.
That's right. You're right. You hit that right on the head.
Yeah. You don't see those places. You don't see pawn shops in high-end neighborhoods because people with money don't do that kind of stuff. It's people with no money who need that, and they don't get the education that they deserve. Anyway. Sorry.
We need people like that, you know?
Yeah.
You doing that, you taking the time and the effort to make that happen just shows that you're that type of person. It's like the conversation we had prior to this starting the podcast, is that you will give and give and give without expectation because you want to see other people succeed.
I do. And you know what, Louis? I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock you. Probably something you don't know about me. Are you ready? Are you sitting down?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I hope I'm ready. I'm sitting down.
You're so funny. I dropped out of high school in grade 10.
Whoa, I did not know that.
I knew you didn't.
That's a good thing I was sitting down because I'm floored.
I did. I dropped out in grade 10 and I went to work at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And here you are now.
Yeah.
And that's not even from what I know. I don't even think that's the lowest part emotionally that you might have been at.
No.
Yeah, you know. But I have to say though, you guys don't know this about me, but
what?
I dropped out senior year and finished my GED before senior year was up, and then went to college before everybody else went to college.
Oh.
And then decided I needed to wait because I didn't have that exposure in my family at the time to college, being first generation here in the Americas. And you're first generation American?
Mm-hmm. Where's your mother from?
Belize.
I didn't know that.
Yep. My mom's from Belize.
So wait, are you the first generation in your family to go to college?
No, my sister is. So my sister was born in New York, and when my mom came here from Belize, so she went, because she's older, so she went to college first. But that's what inspired me to go, because I didn't know anyone else. My mom didn't go to college. I don't know my dad. He's a gynecologist, but so apparently he did go to college, but I didn't know him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I tried
we
it.
hope he went to college.
Yeah. Well, I tried it at first, and then I said I'll take a step back and I'll just work a lot. And then I went back and went to college again and stayed.
Got it.
And then now here I am. So.
That's great. Isn't that a great feeling?
Wow.
You're like, I'm telling you what, Louis, anything is possible. Not anything. Okay. Can I be on the NBA? No, that's not possible, no matter how much I want. But there are a lot of possibilities. And if it's something within, normal reason, there is no reason why you can't do it, other than me being a 5'3.5" female. I'm not going to be in the NBA, but there are a lot of things I can do that I wouldn't think would normally be possible. So
Right. And it just takes that. You just got to get up and make a change. That's it.
yeah,
Get up
what
and
is
make a
it though,
change.
right? What is it? What is it that makes you finally say, I've had enough? What is it?
I think it's the why. I think it's the why. When you find out why, someone asked me today, I guess I might as well say it because I don't think I've talked about it at all in any of these podcasts, but I'm writing a book, I finished my book, sorry, woo! So, but I've been hinting at it here and there on, social media, but I'm not really too much because I've been focusing on helping my friend over at Black Mirror promote his book. So I told him I would help, I'm focusing solely on your book, but I do need to drop tiny little hints here and there for mine, you know what I'm saying? So
you don't have to drop hints. It's your podcast. You could say what you want.
Oh, no, for sure. No, but I was just saying because I'm not ready.
Have you titled your book yet?
I have.
What is it?
And it's titled The Weekly Buff. So
The Weekly Buff?
The Weekly Buff. And weekly is spelled not like weekly, like weekly, bi-weekly. It's spelled weekly like your week. Yes.
WEKG.
Right. And buff, just because you're getting stronger. So the point of the book is getting strong. Yes.
I get it.
So it's like a double entendre. It's a challenge. It's I really wanted these people to be able to make a difference in their lives with this. But anyways, scratch on the book. We could talk about that another day. This is about you, but sorry, I lost track for a second. What
That's
were we
okay.
getting at?
I don't know. We can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, got it. Okay,
Yes.
so someone messaged me and said, "Hey, you're inspiring me to write a book," and I was like, "All right, that's great. I love it."
Yeah.
I said, "So here's a question for you because this is the question that enabled me to start writing." I said, "It's probably the most important question. Why do you want to write a book? It's not what you want to write a book about. It's why do you want to write a book? Once you figure out why you want to write a book, then you can figure out what to write about,
Yeah.
So for me, my purpose was to motivate other people so they can believe in themselves, So
Right.
I'm still waiting on her answer.
You haven't heard an answer.
Well, she might have said something, but I see it here, but I'm not going to click it because, we're on the podcast here.
Okay.
But so, it goes back to what we were talking about is, like what is it that makes people want to make that change? It's they got to figure out their why, And so I think when people figure out their why, like why do they want to change? Is it because they dropped out in 10th grade and they started working at KFC and they figured they got to make a difference in their life this was not it. They just knew it was a transition to get, it was that vehicle, destination. You know what I'm saying?
Did you write that down?
No, I have a very good memory. And things like that stick.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So I definitely think that's important. And you found your why. Whatever your why was, you found it, and that's why you are where you are today. And that's just with that moment.
You know what, Lily? I still don't think I know my why.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you think you do. And then when you start down the path, you realize, I don't think this is what I set out to do, or I don't think this is what I wanted to do. It got me to the next step, which is great, but that wasn't really my destination. And I don't know that it ever is your destination. I think that's the point of life, to keep growing and moving, and I just feel like I'm ready to take the next step, the next adventure.
And so the question for that is, what's your next why? Because who's to say we're only capable of one why? Right. So what's your next why? If that was your why then, what's your why now?
Well, I'll tell you, my first why, I think, was because of my son.
Mm-hmm.
My son Cole was, let me see, 7 years old.
Quick math.
and I was working at Enterprise Car Rental. Okay, wait. So here's a good story. So still grade 10 education or 10th grade education. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to figure out what to do. I was like, wow, this sucks, because I had no education and my friend gave me a job. I had decent computer skills, and my friend gave me a job retouching photos at a photo studio that did pictures of families and children. So I did that for a while. And she paid me, this is back in 1999, she paid me like $7 an hour. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. I'm making, hardly anything, but I'm juggling with my son, and it's a lot of work, and I'm not sure this is worth it. And I talked to her about it, and I'm like, hey, Sandy, I don't know that this is worth it. And she says, Tracey, it's not worth it. And I'm like, oh, dude, are you firing me? And she's like, I'm not firing you. She's like, I'm just telling you that you are super capable woman who is super smart, and you're working for $8 an hour, and that sucks. You need to go to college, because you have no other skills other than the retouching the photos, and you need to get a degree and go get a job doing where you make big money, good money, with benefits and health insurance and that kind of stuff. And I was 30 at the time. I was 34, and I said to her, I said, well, let me think about it. So I thought about it, and I talked to her again. She and I were good friends. So it wasn't like she was firing me. It was like, this is all conversations between luncheons with, a very nice lunch and a glass of wine or champagne. And I said, I need to think about this a minute. So I thought about it, and I said to her, you know what? I think I'm just going to stay working for you right now and until I find a better job, because I'm 34, and I don't want to be stuck in a classroom with a bunch of 18-year-olds until I'm 38 years old and graduate with my 4-year degree. Mm-hmm. She looked straight at me, and she said, Tracey, I have news for you. In 4 years, you're going to be 38 with or without a degree. But either way, you're going to be 38 in 4 years. Do you want to be 38 with a degree or 38 without a degree? I was like, holy shit, you're right. Time's not stopping.
Nope, absolutely not.
I was like, guess I better get my ass in college.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like that type of moment where you're like, holy crap, you're not kidding. I guess maybe, is it different when you have a child? Is it not different when you have a child? I don't know. But I know when she said that, I was like, holy crap, you're right. So immediately I enrolled myself in college, right? This is the crazy story, which sometimes I worry about telling people, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want the college to come back and kick me out and take the degree back. But I applied to the community college in my area, and I didn't want to check the box that said you did not have a college degree. Said, do you have a college degree? I checked yes. I mean, a high school degree, high school diploma. Yes, yeah. I checked yes, even though I knew I didn't. But my high school was in Canada. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I was like, how are they going to know? High school in Canada. You're calling a high school in Canada to get my information? So I check, yes, I have a high school diploma. Here's my name of my high school. Here's their address. So I get it randomly. I get a phone call one day from the community college, and they said, "Hey, we're trying to get your high school transcripts." My heart sank. I was like, "Oh God, no." They said they won't give them to us. They said you have to request them in person.
Oh wow, in person.
I was like, in person? I'm not going to fly to Canada to get you my high school transcripts. They said, no, of course not. That's ridiculous. Which I was so happy to hear. I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Aren't those Canadians crazy? Meanwhile, I didn't even have a high school I graduated from, so I'm super pumped. But I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I said, so what should I do? How do I get into the community college? They said, you have to come and take our test. You're going to take an English test and a math test. And based on how you do on the tests is how we're going to let you into the college. So I went. Here's the craziest part, Lily, right? I take the English test and I pass into college level English. I only went to grade 10 in English in Canada, but I test into the college level of English in the United States.
And 2 years without, and a lot of time without even any education after.
Any education. So this is from how old are you in grade 10? 14, 15? 15, like 14, I think you're 15. I think you're 14 or 15, right? I'm now 34. I still pass in to college level English in the United States. But, however, the math, I did not. The math, I had to take the pre-college math. So I took the pre-math, I got in, and then I was like, okay, I'm nervous about going to college in the United States. You know, their standards are really high. I'm going to just take 4 classes, 12 credit hours. So 4 classes. I'll just take 4 classes to start and see how it goes. I took 4 classes. I took 4 classes, Louis, and I worked full-time job and had my son, who was 5 or 6 years old at the time. I got 4 A's. I got A's in all 4 classes. I was like, whoa, this is easy. I got this. I could do this. I ended up getting my 4-year degree, bachelor's degree at the University of South Florida. I got my 4-year degree in 3 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Had a full-time job and had a 6-year-old child.
You know what?
What? Tell me. What?
That is something that I have recognized in women. When it comes to their children, they can do anything. There was this girl, anything. I went to school with this girl who had 6 kids. She was 25.
What?
Yes. 6
Holy
kids.
shit.
She was 25. She worked a full-time job, single mother, and had straight A's. Meanwhile, I'm in the same class with a C. Fucking off. I mean, crap, well, whatever. Yeah, fucking off. You know? And when I saw her report her grades, because we did an assignment together. So, after that, we stuck together and went through. She showed me her grades, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed right now. I have no reason. After that, whenever we had an introduction to another class and we had to write about something that motivated us, that girl was the person I wrote about in my papers.
Wow.
Was her, because I was like, if she can do it.
Now? What is she doing now?
We lost contact. She ended up.
Find her.
Yeah, I will have to remember her name.
She's probably the CEO of some company.
Who knows? But I tell you what, I wouldn't put it past her, because she had the dedication of a lion after its prey. I tell you.
You know what? Yeah. I think that comes with being a mom and knowing that you have kids at home depending on you. And I told that to my son when my son was high school age. He's like, Mom, why did you go back to high school? No. He's like, Mom, how did you get your 4-year degree in theory in 3 years? I was like, because I had you at home. I said, and I knew that you were counting on me and depending on me to get through school and get my degree and get a good job so I can take care of you and make sure you're at a good school and in a good neighborhood and doing all those things. And I told him that. I was hoping that all that information would rub off on him and he would be like, wow, she really went through a lot to make sure that I could have better in my life. And I'm going to work harder and I'm going to do well at school. I'm going to try at school. Not work harder, but I'm going to at least try at school. And yeah, that doesn't happen. Which brings me back to my thing that you and I were talking about before the podcast, which was give with zero expectation.
That's right.
Just because I chose to bust my butt and struggle and have a full-time job and a 6-year-old child and get my college degree, just because I chose those doesn't mean that my son is going to appreciate it and go on to college and be something more successful than me. You have to give with the intention to give, and whatever those people choose to do with their lives, you have to accept the fact that it's their life and you can't live life for them. It's their life to live. And if they choose to do it the hard way, that's their choice.
That's right. Choices.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? Because I've met Cole.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and he is super witty. I mean, the way when we were having trivia and he would just come off the snap. It got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him answer all the questions because
I know.
I'm going to enjoy my meal.
Yeah. Yep.
And,
well, it's our hamburgers. He can answer the question. He's so smart. And, a lot of my friends, when they would come to trivia night with us, they would say to me, they're like, whoa, I bet you had fun raising that one as a kid. I'm like, yeah, he was a challenge because he's super smart. He's so intelligent, but he wants to do things his own way. So as a mom, I have to accept the fact that, yes, he is smart. Yes, he wants to do things his own way. Are those ways the dumb ways? Well, they're dumb for how I would do them based on my life experience, but he wants to learn his way. He had a shot, I let him do it, whatever he wanted. And he finally, just a few weeks ago, had dinner with us. And he's like, Mom, I've been thinking maybe dropping out of college wasn't the best move. I think I'm going to go back.
All right.
And
that sounds like the best thing I've heard from him. I
know. And I didn't get too excited. Here's my thing with him is when he gives me bad news, not bad news, but when he gives me news that he knows I'm not going to be happy about, I don't get too down about it and I don't get happy about it. I'm just like, okay, well, if that's the choice you made, it's your life, do it. So when he gave me the news, which for me is good news, where it's like, Mom, you know what? I've done it my way for a year. Yeah, you're right. It sucks. I'm going to go back to college. When he told me that, I didn't celebrate and say, woohoo, told you so. You. I was like, okay, well, if that's what you think you want to do. And if you think that's the best decision for you, then I support it. I was very calm about it because I feel like if I'm too yoo-hoo, I was right, you were wrong, told you so, that he's going to be like, you're a jerk. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just going to go back to whatever. So I try to be even keel no matter what he tells me because essentially it just is his life. There was my parents. Oh God, there was no telling. They were not telling me what to do or think or say. So I do the same for him. Yeah.
No, he this is just short-term stuff. He's still 21, right? He's 21.
No, he is. Man, is he 21? He was born in 99. I think yes. He turned 21 in May. I am not a math person, but yeah, he turned 21 in May. It just seems so crazy to say it. I was like, no, of course he's not 21. He can't drink. No, he can drink. He turned 21 in May. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember recently he had a birthday. So I think
he did.
20 when I met him, and I was like, damn, he's 20. It's like, wow,
he's
smart.
So mature, right? Yeah, he's super mature. He's super smart, super dry sense of humor. So a lot of people are like, oh, he seems so much older. Like, that's his dry sense of humor, his jokes, and plus he loves classic rock. So I think that's the other thing, you know. He likes classic rock, 70s rock. He likes the old 70s rock. So whenever we go out to trivia night, he's got all the classic rock music questions. He doesn't know anything. Here's something funny. He doesn't know anything about the new music. I know all the new music. What do you need to know? You need to know Drake. I've got it. But all the old music he knows.
Yeah, he was, because he was naming some songs. I was like, dude, you're younger than me, and you're naming these songs. I don't even know these songs. But, you know, everybody's different. Everybody's got their own attraction to music.
For sure.
What's something, as a woman, right? A woman has gone through great lengths and jumped many hurdles, many obstacles, climbed many mountains. So what would you say to encourage women out there that, you know, from a woman's in business, a woman in high positivity, a woman that's been at the bottom and found her way to the top, but is also looking for higher lengths, knowing that she has no limits? What would you say to these women out there who need that push?
Man, I have 3 great tips. They're the 3 tips that I live by. I follow through with on a daily basis. Number 1 is ask questions. Everybody I meet, I ask questions. I can't help it. It's like a compulsive thing that I can't really turn off. Everybody I meet, I have to ask them questions. I don't know why. It's just something in me, but it has served me incredibly well. Like, when I graduated college, I didn't graduate college, then become a business person. I graduated college. The only job I could get was working at a rental car company with a 4-year degree and $35,000 in student loan debt. And the only job I could get is working at a rental car company. But I've always been a curious person, and I've never been afraid to ask questions. And I had a guy walk into the car rental agency to get a car, and he had a shirt on that said Firehouse Subs. And I'm like, hey, oh, you work at Firehouse Subs. Which one do you work at? And he said, well, I don't really work at them, but I own 3 of them here in town. And I said, whoa, 3? You own 3 of them? Do you want to sell any of them? And he started laughing, just like you, Louie. He started laughing. He's like, that's a weird question. And I said, I'm sorry, is that weird? Did I offend you? He says, no, it's weird because I have 2 for sale.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, whoa, you do? He said, yeah, I do. I was like, okay. So I said, give me your card. I'm going to call you in about a week and see if we could set up a meeting to talk and find out how I can buy one of your stores. So I took his card. And then a week later, I phoned him. He's like, who is this? I said, it's Tracey. You remember Tracey with blah, blah rental car? He's like, oh my God, yeah. I just can't believe you're calling me. I said, well, yeah, I took your card. What did you think? He's like, no, I'm just surprised. I said, okay, well, when are we meeting? well, let's meet up. We met, and it just, everything for my life with Firehouse Subs worked out from there, right? The story of it's too long to go into, but it all worked out. And I ended up owning a restaurant, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
But
the point is asking questions.
The point is asking exactly. Ask questions.
Right.
Don't be afraid. Even if you think your question's stupid, it's not stupid. I remember I used to work for a land developer in the Cayman Islands, because I used to live in the Cayman Islands. And when I moved to Florida, I was asking another developer. I was like, hey, how did you get into developing these resorts? And across the table came a kick. I got kicked. One of the people I was in the meeting with kicked me right under the table. And remember, at the time now, I didn't have a college degree, so I didn't know anything. I was just asking questions. And I remember getting kicked. And I looked, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I asked something wrong. When we got outside, they said, I can't believe you asked him that question. I said, what question? They said, you asked him how he became a developer on a Caribbean island. Why would you ask him that? I said, because I want to know. You have to ask questions in order to grow. But they didn't appreciate it or didn't care that I was out. They're like, you're making us look ridiculous. I'm like, do you know how he became a developer? Do you know how to become a developer? And the guy said, no. I'm like, wouldn't you rather be the developer than some middleman? So why wouldn't you ask the developer how to become a developer?
Right.
So that's my number one. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Who cares if it's an embarrassing question? What do you care? You're not going to talk to these people every day. They're not your friends. They're business people that you're meeting at the moment. Don't be embarrassed. Nobody cares. The other thing is, don't be afraid to say yes. If somebody asks you a question or asks you to do something that you're like, oh, I don't know. Should I do it? Shouldn't I? What should I do? I don't know. Like the podcast.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say yes. What's the worst that can happen? Louis edits me and doesn't put me on his podcast? Boo-hoo. That's not the worst thing in the world, right?
Right, exactly.
But the other thing is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say no either, right? So I have perfect example. I had 2 customers came into the restaurant, businessmen, and they're like, wow, this lunch is great. We've had a great time. Do you do breakfast? No, we don't do breakfast. All we have is lunch sandwiches. Well, we can do lunch sandwiches, they tell me, but we need to have coffee. Do you have coffee? I said, no, we don't have coffee, but I can make coffee happen, because I was so hungry to get that sandwich business.
Yeah.
I can make coffee. Louis, what the hell do I know about making coffee? Nothing except my pour over I do in my kitchen at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you can learn.
I'll figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yes, I can do coffee. I'll drop coffee with the sandwiches. It'll be great. So I'm like, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going to call Panera or Starbucks and buy the coffee from them already made in the box. So I'm like, I got this. I got it. So I call Panera. I'm like, hey, I'm going to get a box of coffee from you. They're like, okay, it's $15 for 10 people. I was like, whoa, holy Christmas, that's a lot of money. I didn't quote this guy enough money to cover it. So I call Starbucks, it's worse.
Oh, I'd imagine so.
So I'm like, holy crap, what did I get myself into? I said yes, because I didn't want to be afraid to say yes. I should have said no. But now I'm stuck. This guy's counting on me to bring him and his group coffee in the morning. So I start going online, researching I find a rental company that rents like events, banquets and stuff, right? They do banquet type things. And they have this giant coffee urn with a filter, and you dump the granules in. Louis, this was the biggest disaster ever.
All because you were afraid to say no.
Yes, I was afraid to say no because I didn't want to lose this guy's lunch business.
Right.
Don't be afraid to say no. If you can't do it, don't put yourself in a stressful situation and where you're going to not only make your life miserable, but their life miserable. Don't do it. If you can do it, take a chance. But if you don't think you can pull this off, just say no. Walk away from the business. It's not worth it.
I'm here.
Aha. Hey. Alrighty. I'm in the office. Got my squeaky chair. Got my flip-flops on. Ready to
Squeaky chairs, flip-flops. Those are perfect for podcast recordings.
Oh, yeah. That's all the noise I need in the background. How was your guys' day today?
It was good. It was relaxing because yesterday we had a really big dinner party.
Oh.
And now, yeah, we had it here. Now, we only had 6 people over, so it wasn't big in terms of amount of people, but in terms of the food, because I made a 5-course meal, which I've never done before. So excited.
What'd you make? Tell me.
Oh, man. So our first appetizer I made, so I took sliced pears that I bought the pears a few days ago, so they were really soft and sugary, and I sliced them vertically, right? So each slice was the shape of the pear. And then I spread goat cheese on it. I sprinkled it with some dry rosemary, some honey, and some sea salt.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
It was so good. And you know what? 2 of the people that were there at the dinner party last night texted me and asked me for the damn recipe. And they're like, how did you cook the pears? I'm like, I didn't cook the pears. All I did was slice fruit and smear a little cheese. But they loved it.
I need that too.
That was the first appetizer. The second appetizer, I made corn cakes, and then on the corn cakes, I put 2 seared scallops with a creamy garlic sauce.
Now, what's a corn cake exactly? Like, what is that? What I'm trying to picture it.
So it is in the shape of a disc. Okay. It's like a pancake. Really, it's like a little mini pancake with corn in it.
So you're so it's not on the cob, basically. It's off the cob.
No. It's off the cob, correct. Yeah. And then I make like these little pancakey things, and I put 2 seared scallops on it, and then some creamy garlic. It was sauce. It was so good. And then appetizer number 3 was roasted beet and tomato salad with mandarin oranges. And I made my own salad dressing, mandarin orange salad dressing. It was awesome. And then for dinner, we did braised veal shanks on creamy polenta.
Oh, tell me about that one. That sounds good. Tell me about that one.
Ooh, that one was good. So I made polenta. I found this recipe on Food Network. I have the Food Network app where you can download all these recipes. That thing is amazing. And I found this recipe from Giada De Laurentiis where you make the polenta and then you add heavy cream and a stick and a half of butter and a cup and a half of Parmesan cheese. So it's so good and creamy. It's delicious. And then I braised veal shanks in, first you sear the veal in the olive oil. And then you put onions and celery and carrots and you get them all cooking so they're soft. And then you add the veal shank back into the dish, and then you add a little bit of beef broth to it and some red wine and let it simmer for 2 hours. And so it's very tender. And then you serve. Oh, wait, I made this for you, Louis.
Wait, it's the same thing?
That's the dish I made.
Oh, that was so good. How did it come out this time?
Amazing. Actually, I think it was better the time with you.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't just the company. It was that the butcher didn't prepare them to prepare the meat as well as he should have. He left a lot of the silver around it, and I cut away as much as I could, but I'm not a professional butcher. So, a professional butcher would have cut more, but what happened is the veal shanks had just come in that day. Yeah. And the girl that was working at the counter was going to hold 5 shanks back for us, like pulled them aside after they came in. So she did, but what she didn't realize was that the butcher hadn't prepared them yet. She didn't know. And she didn't tell me because she didn't know. So when I got home, now I didn't unwrap all the veal until it was time to get it ready to cook.
Right.
So, because she packaged it up so nice, I was like, well, it's in a nice tight bundle. I'll leave it until I'm ready to cook. So I get it out to start prepping it. And I realized that the butcher hasn't taken the silver off. And I was like, oh, God dang it. I could do it, but it's going to be not as good as if he had done it. So, because I don't have knives that are, Do you know what the silver is?
Is it like that coating around it?
Yes.
Like that? Okay, yeah.
Yep. So anyway, so that was on it. I cut away as much as I could, though, but it could have been better. Yeah, it was way better when you were over. That was perfect. Yeah. Anyway, it was still good.
Liked it, right? Yeah.
They loved it. And then I made for dessert, I made a cake. It's an Italian cake, and it's called torta barozzi. Ooh. Now, I've never made this cake before. So what I did, I didn't know if I was even going to like it. So I made it at the beginning of the week. It was like my stunt cake, right?
Right.
So like, we'll make it. We'll try it. If I like it, I'll make it again for dinner on Saturday night. So I made it. I think this is the best cake I've ever made. It was so good. It's actually a torte. It's a flourless chocolate torte. And, but instead of flour, I did was I took some blanched almonds and some blanched peanuts, which means, do you know what a blanched almond is and a blanched peanut? Okay, so peanuts normally we think of as the roasted with salt on them, right? So these aren't roasted. It's peanuts in their raw state. So if you were to eat it, it's actually pretty not good. It's like, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's pretty bad. It tastes like taste-wise, yeah. Okay. It's also very soft. They're not hard like after you smoke them. They're not crunchy.
Yeah.
So they're soft, and it almost tastes like you're eating a raw bean of some kind. I know, it's not super tasty. However, what I did was I put them in the food processor, and then you grind them down so it makes like a coarse flour. Yeah. And then you use that in your cake, so the cake stays dense but doesn't rise up. It's a delicious. And then I use dark chocolate and rum and coffee, espresso grounds in it. Oh my God!
I'm glad I'm recording this. I'm gonna have to replay this and write that down. This is staying in the podcast, by the way. I'm gonna make sure to tell people there's a secret at the end of the podcast. You guys might want to stick around for.
And I made a welcome cocktail for all my guests.
Oh man!
Thank you. I love them. I get most of them from online. I don't create any on my own. But I made this one cocktail. It's called a San Remo, and I used it's got Campari and sweet vermouth, elderflower liqueur, bourbon, orange juice, and lime juice. And you just put it all in a shaker and pour it in the glass. It's amazing.
Oh, I just had a brain blast. Oh,
what?
Crap.
I thought you forgot to do something.
No. The people in the podcast are going to be branching off and having more episodes down the future. You are going to crush these episodes with your foodie and drink experience.
Oh, I love them.
Oh man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is going to be awesome.
I love food. I love drinks.
This way you can cover material. Yes. Yeah.
And I love entertaining.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, you do. You do a darn good job.
Thank you. I'm so glad, because sometimes I'm like, oh, that didn't come out as well as I wanted it to. And then everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was like, Because I thought that pear appetizer was going to be like lame. I'm like, people are going to be like, what the hell is she trying to give us? But it was like the hit. I'm like, what? Are you kidding? This took no effort, man. Mother Nature did it all. I just put the plate out.
Right. You just cut it up and sprinkled it. And
yeah.
So there you go.
Anyway.
Yeah. I definitely got to try that one out too, because that sounds like the easiest.
Oh, man. It's easy. So easy. Up. I'm going to send you links with recipes.
Yeah, especially that last one.
The cake?
The what did you call it?
Yeah, it's called torta barozzi. Torta, torta barozzi. Barozzi. I've never even heard of it. I'm probably even saying it wrong. It's probably something way more elegant than the way I'm pronouncing it. But just saying, it's a good dessert. And then I put some powdered sugar on it and a little scoop of chocolate hazelnut gelato on the side. Oh, that stuff was good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the whole cake is gone. I woke up this morning, there's no cake left. I was like, whoa, somebody went back for seconds.
I would too. Every cake I've had from you has been on point.
I try. Many cakes have gone in the garbage, Louie, and no one knows about it. I'm like, we'll just throw that out and pretend that never happened.
You got a cake graveyard.
Oh yeah, I do. Yes.
You got, like how because you showed me how to make the steaks, and I became like the steak.
I know. Now I see your steaks. I'm like, damn, he needs to come over and start cooking that for me.
I actually started slowing down on it though, because I was getting I was practicing so much that I was just eating steak all the time. I was like, all right, I gotta slow down a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm glad you took some time to come back and wrap up this podcast.
Oh, I'm so glad. That was so fun. I'm sorry, I talk so much. I know I go off on tangents.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, we cover a lot of material.
Yes.
So
hey, and that employee I told you about enrolled himself in culinary school. Yeah.
What?
Yes, he did.
So he did
do it. I'm
right.
so proud of him.
See, you're changing the life already. I mean, you've already been changing lives, but you just changed his life.
I just pushed him when he needed a little push.
That's right. That's right. You encouraged him to do the things he wanted to do. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. Yeah. Cool. Good for him. Congratulations. I hope he does well.
Thank you.
In his culinary.
Thank you. I will pass that along.
Mm-hmm. Thanks again for coming back on here. And honestly, I feel like this is a great conclusion. This is the perfect ending. They get our recipes, 5-course meals. Yeah. There's a ceremony at the end where we give congratulations to the guy from the previous podcast for enrolling in culinary school. Okay. Well, girl, go do your thing. I'm glad you came back again.
Thank you.
And I appreciate everything. Thank you,
man. It was great to talk to you, Louie. I love it.
Oh yeah, all the time. We'll just talk. We'll call.
All right. You take care.
All right.
Bye.